Okay, in this video we are going to see a three-step routine that you often see while using Pandas, and it is quintessential to follow this routine. So what am I talking about? Let's see a simple example. Okay, and we have this example one, which is reading of data. Let's say, so what I'll do is, first let's see what the routine is. It is writing the code, assigning to a variable, and verifying the data. I call it as WAV. Okay, writing the code, assigning to variable, and verifying the data. Fine. So let's write the code. So what I'll do is, I'll say pd dot read underscore csv, and then I'll say test dot csv. I have written the code, and this is the data frame I am reading. test.csv is the file which has this data, and I'm reading through this inbuilt pandas method called read underscore csv. Alright, so I have written this piece of code. So this W is writing the code. I have written the code. Then step 2 is assigning it to a variable. Now I'll say cd cricket data is equal to, I'll do the same thing here. So this one, copy it, and I'm going to assign it to a variable, and I'm going to run the cell. Now I have this cd, right? So I have written the code, assigned it to variable. Now third is verify the data. Now how do I do it? I can simply say cd and run the cell, or use methods such as head and tail, which brings 5 cells, first 5 cells and last 5 rows of the data frame. So if I use cd.head here, I'm going to get the first 5 rows of this data frame. And what I did, I verified here. So the common practice is write, assign and verify. Now this is one simple example. Let's look at another example, selecting a single column of data. Now what I'll do is, I am interested in averages, but before that what I want to do is, I want to set the index. Okay, let's clean this data a little bit, or even set the index. Okay, let's just do setting of index. And what I'll do is cd. Okay, I think this could be another potential example, and what I'll do is, I'll say here example 1.1. okay, setting of index. Fine. Now what I'll do is, I'm going to write a piece of code, cd dot set underscore index, and I want to set player as its index. Player. Now let me run the cell and see what happens here. Now instead of this redundant index of 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, I now have the players as the index, which makes sense, which really makes sense, right? So this is what is writing of the code, right? Now I would like to assign it to the same variable. Why? Let's say if I had to check this data at right now, so it is not assigned. I mean, it is not reflected here. Index are still 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. Why? Because the second step of this is assigning to a variable. We have written the code, you have to assign to a variable and then verify the data. So this is writing of the code, and then what we'll do is, we'll assign it to the same variable, or you can create a new variable and assign it to it, but I think this should be fine here. So I'm assigning to the same variable, and then I'm going to run it, and I'm going to verify it. So cd dot head, and I'm going to verify it. So writing, assigning, and verifying. These are the three simple steps. So now we have seen reading of the data, we have seen setting the index of a data frame. Let's simply see selecting a single column. Now what I'll do is I'll take CD and I'm interested in average, so I'll say AVE, okay, and I will run the cell. There you go. I see something here. It is a series because you have selected only one column. Now to make it a data frame, all you need to do is add a set of square brackets, run it. That's all. You get a data frame. This is a simple tip you can use. Now what I'll do is, this is writing of the code, writing the code, right? Now I will assign it to, let's say, CD underscore AVE average, and then I'll simply use the same code here. Okay, and I'm going to run this. After that, what I'll do is I have to verify. It becomes CD underscore EVE dot head, and I'm going to verify. That's all. So this is verification, verifying. Okay, and this is assigning. So again, writing the code, assigning to a variable, and verifying. And in this way you have selected one single column. What about multiple columns? If I want to select multiple columns, you can do that. That is the third example. What we'll do is we'll say CD of, or to make it even more readable, let's say we want some columns and we are going to have a list of columns, and those columns are probably hundreds, 50s and zeros. So I'll say 100, 50 and 0. Then what we will do is CD and we'll say COLS. Okay, after that we'll run this cell and see what happens. See, each of the players, their hundreds, their 50s, their zeros. Now what I did is I have written the code, writing the code, and then what I'll do is I'll say CD underscore 3, the 3 stats that I'm looking for, and I'll use the same thing, CD cols. That's all, and I'm going to run the cell. This is assigning to a variable, and then what I'll do is CD underscore 3, I'm going to verify the data frame that I got. There you go, I got the data frame that I was looking for. So this is verification. Alright, so this is a simple step process. So we have seen like 4 different examples, and 3 of them being in different situations. One reading the data, other is setting the index, and thirdly selecting a single column or multiple columns. And whatever situation you are in, and the most common thing that you find is this 3 steps: writing the code, assigning to a variable, and verifying. And over time you can do it in single cell, all the 3 things